All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Sparking Zero video. And today I actually bring you guys a pretty decent update from the official Dragon Ball Games Twitter account themselves. Now, right away, I'm just gonna break the ice so nobody get this misconstrued. Unfortunately, it is still not DLC announcement day yet. Hopefully sometime soon, within the next couple of weeks, I would still assume. We'll be right back here talking about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero Daima DLC Character Pack 2. But until then, at least the Dragon Ball Games Twitter account isn't radio silent on Sparking Zero anymore, right? So this morning, they actually just sent out a tweet where they announced that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is going to be coming to not only the Nintendo Switch 2, but also the Switch 1 on the 14th of November this year. I'm not really too sure how I feel about Sparking Zero on the Switch 1. I guess we'll have to see, you know, how it runs and everything like that. But before we go ahead and hop in here and watch this new trailer ourselves, which keep in mind, guys, this is probably going to be a relatively short video. Not only did they make a brand new trailer for this version of the game coming to Switch and Switch 2, but they also went ahead and explained some of the key aspects of this new update coming to the Switch 2, which is why, as you guys can see down here, this is a pretty lengthy trailer overall. It's over 3 minutes long. We're going to go ahead under this reply tweet right here and say what the Dragon Ball Games Twitter account had to say about this new update. So it says right here, we'll be releasing an update for the Nintendo Switch version of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero to allow you to play an enhanced version on the Nintendo Switch 2 system, which we pretty much assumed that was going to be the case, right? By connecting your Nintendo Switch 2 system to the internet and downloading the update, characters and backgrounds will appear with improved clarity and richer detail. And I'm sure they're just talking about improved clarity and richer detail from the Switch to the Switch 2, right? Because we even have examples of how this is going to look over in this tab right here that we're going to go over after we watch the trailer. So they're going to say down below here, this update will be available for both package and download versions of the game. We'll announce the release date of the update at a later date. So let's go ahead and hop into this trailer right here and see what we have to look forward to on Nintendo, right? Nintendo Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Let's see. And real quick, keep in mind, guys, this is Twitter quality for this trailer. I promise that the game is not going to look this grainy at all. This is just what videos look like on Twitter. Had to make sure I explain that because I know somebody's going to be like, oh my God, that quality is terrible. Just chill, brother. It's Twitter compression. Okay. You know what, if I'm being honest, if I had a Switch 2, I have a regular Switch, but if I had a Switch 2, I would probably get this on there. Not to play seriously, console and PC are definitely still going to be the more serious platforms for the game, but just to play like more casually even. And I would still play with the Pro Controller. I'm not playing this game with Joy-Cons. That's disgusting. That's gross.
We will both continue to get stronger and stronger, don't you think? You're well beyond my normal limits. I'm going to defeat you.
All right, pretty cool trailer overall. I mean, we've already seen all of these scenes before. They literally took this from the like this part right here. I'm pretty sure these clips are from the 50 Days Out trailer, right? If I'm not mistaken, or it's either the 50 Days Out trailer or another trailer right before or right after, correct? All right, so right here, it looks like they're still doing the pre-order bonus, even for the Switch version of the game, which obviously that makes sense, right? Where we're going to have the 6 early unlocked characters being the 3 versions of Dragon Ball Super Gogeta and the 3 versions of Dragon Ball Super Broly, and also the secret unlocked character that's obviously no longer a secret being Daima Mini Goku right here. Like we learned in DLC 2 for this game, I think it was, you don't have to exactly have this version of Daima Goku. You can just, you know, buy the second DLC and you'll get Daima Goku along with the ability to transform him into a Super Saiyan with his technique switching equipment or costume as well. So as you guys can see down here, we're only halfway through this thing, so we'll see what else they have to say. Looks like everything else is still going to be pretty standard when it comes to the deluxe and ultimate edition of the game. Everything that, you know, came with the console and Steam versions of the game are going to be coming with the Switch version too. So nothing really changes here.
will be releasing an update for the Nintendo Switch version of Dragon Ball
All right, so
Sparking
now they're
Zero
getting into the actual
to allow you
update.
to play an enhanced version on the Nintendo Switch 2 console. By connecting your Nintendo Switch 2 console to the internet and downloading the update, characters and backgrounds will appear with
Hold on, let's see that again.
console to the internet and downloading the update. Characters and backgrounds will appear with improved clarity and richer detail.
I mean, we have some, like I said, we have a screenshot of a before and after. Well, actually, it's between the Switch version and the PS5 version that we'll look at after this, thanks to DBS Hype. But let's see if they show us anything else.
Some save data from when the Nintendo Switch version of the software was played on the
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, between the Switch and the Switch 2, that actually does, in this shot specifically, this does look a lot better. I don't know why this is so, maybe this is just the lighting from how they edited the video, but this looks super bright on this version, and this looks a lot better shaded on the Switch 2.
The Nintendo Switch console can be carried over, but battle replay data.
Or maybe it's not the editing, maybe that's just how it looks on the Switch. Okay.
Replay data, edit data created in custom battles, and online battle records cannot be carried over.
All right, so when it comes to data transfer possibilities for Sparking Zero on these two consoles, you are going to be able to transfer over your game progress and your unlocked characters, items, etc. But you will not be able to transfer over battle replays, custom battle edit data, which is going to suck for a lot of people, I'm not going to lie, and online battle records. So when they say online battle records, this is kind of confusing me a little bit because you can transfer over game progress, but you can't transfer over online battle records. But your ranking is also a part of your game progress, I would assume, right? So is this saying that you aren't going to be able to transfer over your rank, which I'm assuming right now that that's not the case.
Conversely, after applying the update on a Nintendo Switch 2 console, then returning to play the Nintendo Switch version of the software on the original Nintendo Switch console, some data can be carried over, while others cannot. If you play the Nintendo Switch version of the software on the Nintendo Switch 2 console with the update applied, you will be able to battle online or offline with users who are either playing the Nintendo Switch version of the software with the same update applied, or the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the software.
Okay, so technically, and this is a massive, I'm kind of just playing around, but technically the Switch 2 is crossplay with people playing on the same update on either the Switch or the Switch 2. But if you're not, if your game isn't updated on the original Switch, you can't play with people on this update, which is pretty much what they're saying, right?
This concludes the explanation of the update for the Nintendo Switch version.
All right, so basically what they're saying at the closing of this trailer is even if you only have a Switch 1 and you plan on playing Sparking Zero solely on that, just go ahead and update that bad boy, man. So you can at least play with people that are on the Switch 2 as well, right? So the final thing that I wanted to look at in regards to this new update for the Switch 2 version of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero was a little bit of a graphics comparison over here on DBS Hype's Twitter, where he did a comparison between the Switch 1 and the PS5 graphics of the game. And honestly, the only thing that really bothers me about the graphics for the Switch 1 is kind of how choppy it looked in that trailer and the overall just brightness of the game. And obviously this, you know, the settings back here, it doesn't look nearly as good as it does on console. This looks like I don't know what this looks like some Fortnite structures back here. I don't know. But yeah, the overall brightness of everything on the Switch 1, it just cannot compare to how it looks on the Switch 2 with the shading, and especially over here on PS5, man. Like, you just cannot compete with this unless you're on the Steam version of the game or something like that. Just the console and Steam version of this game, they look too good, man. But overall, this doesn't look too bad. And especially the Switch 2 version of the game, that did not look bad at all. Let's see if we can go back here some. This right here, I see a big difference. Even just going back and looking at this a second time, I do see a pretty big difference here. You guys can see how kind of, even though this is Twitter quality, you can see how kind of grainy and a little bit choppy this looks. You can really see how choppy it is when we press play right here. You see how Goku is moving? He just looks a little more choppy than he looked at over here on this right side right here. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this video. It's about to be Demon Slayer time in a few hours here. I hope you guys are excited for that. We're probably going to spend quite a little bit of time on that, going back and forth between Sparking Zero and Demon Slayer. So I'm excited, guys. Let me know down below in the comments if you plan on playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero's newest update on the Switch or the Switch 2. Like I said, probably not for me, but I wanted to make sure I brought you guys this information, and hopefully in a few weeks we'll actually be talking about the next DLC for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. But anyways, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more Dragon Ball content like this. But anyways, fellas, have a great day. I'm gonna see you all in the next one, either later tonight or tomorrow, obviously with some Demon Slayer. But anyways, peace.